Meanwhile, Facebook vowing to police its users, but leaked documents now are raising some serious questions about how it's going to do that. Joining us now, Jim Anderson with Social Flow. Jim, we know that you help businesses with their social media exposure. You understand this world better than most. This New York Times expose was really damning in many ways. What do you make of it?
Yeah, I was really struck by how manual the process is. I mean, they're talking about PowerPoint presentations and Excel files being distributed to 7,500 moderators around the world. You know, Facebook's really going to have to bring its engineering talent to bear on this. I don't know if it's a solvable problem, but I do know they're not going to solve it with PowerPoint.
Well, here's the thing, though, Jim. Here's one line that struck me. Increasingly, the decisions on what posts should be barred amounted to regulating political speech. And not just on the fringes. In many countries, extremism and mainstream are blurring. In other words, they are the arbiters of what's okay politically. Now, we know they're getting in a lot of hot water in this country for some of the decisions that they've made. And again, it boils down to now perhaps just the individual judgment of these individuals who are following this huge booklet of guidelines. I don't know that it's working.
No, I think you're exactly right. And I don't think Facebook thinks it's working. I mean, the idea that they've got a 1,400-page guideline and there's 7,500 mostly entry-level employees around the world being the arbiters of speech, I think if you got Facebook to sort of say, hey, we don't really want to be in this role either, but it truly is a sort of a governmental regulatory question. And, of course, it's going to vary geographically around the world. We're talking about Myanmar and the United States and the EU. I mean, different geographies are going to have very different standards and a very different set of responsibilities.
You know, of course, Jim, the Silicon Valley issue or answer might be, hey, let's get more algorithms to do the jobs of these human beings. But it boils down, at least as non-tech experts, saying, hey, it still seems like these algorithms would reflect the intent of the people who create them. So it almost brings us back to square one. If Facebook does not have some sort of introspection on its own values and the idea that there are other people with other opinions that should be heard.
I think you're right. Algorithms are not magic. They can reflect the biases of the people who create them. But algorithms are critical. We've got to think of the scale here. I mean, you don't use the same bucket that you use in your kitchen sink to control the Pacific Ocean. And we've got to remember, Facebook is dealing with billions of posts. So trying to do it manually with the 7,500 moderators, we're sort of seeing the result of that. They're going to have to find a way, maybe in your phrase of using some introspection is appropriate, to find a way to tune these algorithms to be able to actually handle the scale.
I want to ask you about another sort of Silicon Valley controversy emerging here. Jim, the LinkedIn co-founder, Reid Hoffman, apologized. He issued it yesterday for unknowingly funding a misinformation campaign against Roy Moore in last year's Alabama Senate runoff election. Now, I think we all agree he did the right thing. But some people are still concerned that he's gotten so deeply involved in politics, and it might reflect, again, the Silicon Valley nature and all of the muscle, might, and power that they have being pushed behind progressives and what that means in terms of, tilting our elections. This firm that he hired used Russian tactics.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, one of the challenges here is dirty tricks are not partisan, right? I mean, they can come on any side or any dimension of the political spectrum. And I think what we really have to do is focus on what do we think is an acceptable set of behaviors. To your point, he sort of admitted to that and said that was not appropriate and it shouldn't have happened. So that's good. But you're exactly right in that these kinds of things can happen left, right, center, all around. Dirty tricks are dirty tricks. It doesn't really matter what agenda you're trying to advance.
Jim, thank you very much. We appreciate your expertise as always, and we'll see you again real soon.
Thanks.